Hey,
Bestie.
hey, hey.
Hey guys. Woohoo. There we go. There go our hearts. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bestie Finders Office Hours. And we get so excited about these days right here. And whether y'all do or not, but I know y'all gonna come in. They silly, they crazy, but they making sense. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
ladies, how you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Guys, look, I'm super excited. I cannot wait for Nayala to share today because to have this like 3 days in a row, I'm excited. For her to just be all giddy and smiley. We love to see her smile and feel her joy and happiness and all that good stuff. So yeah, so welcome to our Bestie Finder office hours. All right, so what's our topic today, Dr. Lisa?
All right. This week we are talking care versus clarity. If you're on our newsletter this week, you saw it come up as boss battles.
Boss battles, baby. Boss battles.
Boss battles. And so the topic today is like, so sometimes, a lot of times for some people, you might feel like you're walking on eggshells trying to keep the peace. That's in the office or in your club or in your group or in the house. So you're always trying to navigate the minefield, uh, and sometimes that get freaking tiring. Especially if you're
Sometimes.
one of those gifts that are more direct and doesn't like to and does not like to stick and move in everyday conversation. So we're going to lead off with our compassion heart-led coach
Oh.
Woohoo!
who has news for us and her own perspective. And Jean Kathy and I will fill in after.
Well, clarity. Oh, okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to tie it in. I was just thinking about last week how we talked
Hmm.
about, I guess along the lines of the eggshell of thinking that, how do you address someone in situations and how it could be tiring. And immediately after that, I had a call from
Hmm.
someone that took offense to me a couple of months prior, right? And that call resonated with me and ties in today's topic about care versus clarity because I thought I was being lighthearted, but it was coming across a little brash. And probably because I was in a place in a space of needing to let some things go, but it came out in a way that it should not have. So, um, I don't know. I don't know. What do you all think? How does that tie into today? I'm just happy now.
Okay. I mean, you have to share the story. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that way people it's okay. You can open up and share like that exhorter. Go ahead and be transparent. You don't have to say names or anything like that, but
Right.
situations, you know what I'm saying? And somebody can resonate with that story.
Hmm.
Okay. So I was at a particular event. I thought I was being jovial and lighthearted when saying, "Oh yeah, you can go ahead and do that," but it came across like, "Yeah, you go ahead and do that," right? And so that's the way it was received, and they held on to it for a couple of months. And then I got the call last week, and it was a moment of clarity because it was not my intent to do that, but it also made me think that it was time for me to move on from one particular area in my life. I think you had talked about it, Dr. Lisa, in terms of somebody uh, addressing you and you almost came out of character. And I found myself not being the compassionate, the loving, the giving person that I want to be because I had been so drained. I had been holding on to things and walking on eggshells and trying to keep the peace between this side and that side. And I could see the whole picture and not wanting to disturb other people around me. And it was affecting me in ways that it then affected others around me. And people can see it as much as you
Mhm.
want to hide it, as much as you think you want to protect someone else. People can feel it, people can see it. And then when you become aware of it, that's the point where you have to decide what is truly important to you. Do you want to continue to walk in clarity? Do you continue want to continue to care about other people? And what are those actions that you need to do to proceed in that manner? So that is my care and clarity moment. And from that moment, I decided to step down from a position that I had been in, that I love and I care about. But it became more of an attachment than it did a labor of love. So after
That's
making that
good.
after
That's
making that
good. So,
decision.
but guess what? But tell them the outcome, like how. So, first of all, when we talk about care and clarity,
Yes.
so when I want to clear up, like when you said that, well, then you do that. How did she take that? Like, what did that comment mean to her? And then, second, how when you apologized for making her feel that way, her response.
So in that moment, she felt discarded. She felt like it was a slight. She felt like she wasn't seen, she wasn't heard, because that moment was something that was monumental of the programming that she wanted to put on. And I didn't take it in that way. I was just being what I thought was jovial. But had I been in a space to where I was really aware, I think I would have been more receptive to what she was saying. And when she brought it to my attention, and this is why I'm so grateful for office hours, I was immediately able to apply the fact that I told her I apologize. I'm sorry. That was not my intent. And I took ownership and accountability of where I was in that place and space. And that
Mhm.
made her a sense of relief. She felt seen, she felt heard, she felt appreciated, and she understood it versus holding offense. So it allowed her space to release. Um, yeah, it allowed her space to
Awesome.
release.
That's
Yeah.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So again, now at this point going forward, even if you guys have to do business again or whatever the case may be, because this is like huge in all levels of relationships, right? And so I was looking back over like what we're talking about of prefacing for me
Mhm.
before I say something, which actually shows I'm showing the care first, the care first, and then I'm still gonna bring you the clarity, boo. And it doesn't mean that it's not gonna make that you still won't feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So some people they're gonna feel uncomfortable, mad, hurt, slighted anyway. But um if it's not, if they don't understand the giftings, I'm gonna put it that way. If they don't understand the giftings. But for the ones who do know, that's why we have the ownership of making sure that person understands, especially if we know what their gifts are or their gift is or their leading gift, unless we take the responsibility and go taking the extra step. Like I'm not trying. This is what I'm about to share with you. You asked the question, and what I'm about to say is not to hurt your feelings, but it really is just to answer your question. It is the answer to your question. So however else, because I may go, especially if I know a little bit more about the person, I may say something like, because I know that, you are very sensitive, or I know how you love people. But let me tell you, this joker right here ain't no good for you. I know how you may just overlook some things, but yeah, no, that person right there means you no good. You know what I'm saying? And so, And that actually, and I've been in positions like that, and that actually makes them laugh and understanding that I see something that they literally don't see because of my gift. And I understand, I mean, I explain my gift of perceiver, being able to see things. And most of the, again, most people already know me as being that. I'm not going to say anything negative or crazy or ugly about anybody, right? But if I see something and if I'm close enough to you, I would tell you. And if, of course, if the Lord tell me not to, I'm not opening my mouth. I'm just gonna go pray for you. So, okay, perceivers, that's what we have to do as a perceiver, though, because all the time, unwarranted advice or unsolicited advice can backfire.
Hmm.
Hmm. So, I'm like, Lord, do you want me to say this? And you get that push in your stomach. I be like, I ain't saying nothing because you know they're not gonna believe me, or they're gonna think I'm trying to be funny, or they, or whatever. And honey, it gets so hard. That hard push. Y'all know that unctioning that you get. And if you don't say it, I feel like I'm gonna bust a gut, right? So I have to say it. And I do share. And most people, if they don't, excuse me, if they don't understand right away, they'll come back and say, "You were right. I should have listened." Because most of them going to do what they're going to do anyway. I'll be like, "Yeah, okay. You're welcome, I guess." Because they don't reap the consequences or the benefits from
Hmm.
what was shared. And so that's why now I'm at the place where um, I don't, I don't get so concerned about what may or may not happen, right? As long as I know, especially when you have facts, teacher, you know what I'm saying? And you got all the goods and you know what you're talking about. Like when I used to try to tell some folk, there was some family that was messing with some of my friends that was messing around with some of my family members. I said, girl, I'm trying to tell you, I've been knowing them for a whole lot longer than you. But you think you know a little bit more. Okay. And honey, the results, I won't say catastrophic, but close. But yeah, but it's so good to know these gifts, and you can maneuver through people and situations so much easier and make
Hmm.
major decisions like what you just did, Coach. And we're so proud of you guys. She's been so happy and jovial, and she looked rested and worry free and all of that. I'm like, I am loving this. After look, we done had a road trip. We don't talk what 1 hour and a half down and an hour and a half back. Okay, I'm just kidding, Coach. But
No,
maybe an
she
hour and a
not.
half down.
Hmm.
She's serious.
Teacher, what you got?
Well, to wrap us up for the YouTube group and to spill over into our community chat, we often tell folks, "Hey, listen, get out your feelings. Like having feelings, there's something wrong with that." And when I tell you get out your feelings, I mean it. Don't misconstrue that. But feelings are human. Feelings make us human. And the challenge, the thing that drives us off the path and into going left and into the field and off the track is when we make our feelings more important than the goals we're trying to accomplish. Or if our feelings are more important than everybody else's feelings who are involved, that's when feelings are in the way. So I don't want our heart-led folks or even our straight shooters to feel like they have to tiptoe on eggshells to make everybody else happy except themselves. What you do have to do, because you don't have to, there's no fixing your gifts. Your gifts are who you are.
That's right.
You do have to manage your gifts to keep from veering off into the challenge section, as Dean Kathy would tell us. Stick
Hmm.
stick with your strengths, navigate and manage your challenges. All right. And on that note, you too, join us if you want to get more, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
We are so good with this 15 minutes. Come on, y'all.